Hello, Soul Fam. Welcome to my episode on Soulrich Radio. I am here to deliver deep talks and wisdom for your soul's evolution. And today, I'm going to touch base on a very, very sensitive subject. I'm going to be discussing my personal outlook on God, on religion, and on Saturn. And I'm not claiming that I'm correct, but it's just something that I feel deeply intuitively with. And I just hope that after hearing this, you can open your mind to different possibilities instead of just believing what your family believes or your family's traditions. Because I always tell people that a belief is something that is a part of us because it's strongly imprinted in our cells, and it's something that we just feel intuitively compatible with. Before a belief, you first come across a thought, then you build an emotion to it, and then the belief evolves, and you just want to make sure that you are just on the right path with your gut feeling. Because many of you that come from religious backgrounds, or you're probably still involved in religion, or you're probably confused about what you thought you believed, well, just to let you know, this is totally normal when awakening. So I was raised a Catholic my whole life, and I felt God within me, and I knew that God was real and natural. I always assumed that religion was real because my mom, she forced it upon me. And I remember being at church and I was always thinking like, damn, like something is fishy. You know, even at a young age, the stories just made no sense to me. And I could just sense that there were flaws and nothing was adding up. I was little and all my mom would tell me was, oh, follow the Bible, or don't sin, you're going to go to hell. And of course, me not wanting to go to hell, I did, but I always had questions. And it wasn't until I found out that there were many religions with different gods that I started to wake up and actually research my own religion. It's crazy how many religious people, they don't do any research. And just one simple week of doing my own research led me down the rabbit hole. And since then, I've continued doing research and I just came across to some very insane conclusions. So to start, Jesus really did exist, but his name was not Jesus. That was not his actual name. It was Yeshua. And his teachings have been misunderstood and misinterpreted. Whenever humanity needs to be shown the correct path, there is always a higher consciousness soul sent here to give its teachings. Jesus just happened to be one of those beings, and he was trying to show us how to return to Christ consciousness through all his teachings and his symbolism and yoga. And all of this was later misunderstood and twisted into what we know as the return of Christ. But now the followers of Jesus are going to think that Christ is going to come save us instead of us individually doing our work, so we can return to the consciousness of Christ, to Christ consciousness. And this reincarnation is going to keep going on and on until each soul does the work that Jesus was teaching. When many people refer to the one infinite creator as God, that is false, because truth is there are many gods, thousands. Anyone who was lifted up and being worshipped by humanity was considered a god, because humanity tends to do that. They made Jesus a god, but guys, that was never supposed to happen. There is only one source, one infinite creator of all. So God should be out of your vocabulary when you're talking about infinite source. Because this infinite creator created many universes. Each universe created their sons because they have their own consciousness. Each sun has a consciousness and they created their planets in their solar system. Each planet has a consciousness and they created their own life. So the consciousness of our planet has created us and all life on this planet. And there has been many fake gods here. You look back to ancient Egypt, they believed that extraterrestrials were their God. Christianity believes that Jesus, aka Yeshua, was God in flesh. And Judaism believes that Yahweh is God. Islam believes Allah is their God. It's really just different names for the logos of our planet. But religions are man-made. It just creates confusion. And it was created to instill fear and obedience into humans. You can literally trace this back to the beginning. There was nothing before then. No religion existed. The religion was love. But of course, religions were created by the negative agenda. And upon researching, I've come to realize that Judaism is the closest religion to the truth, because the Earth's solar logo was Yahweh, or El, aka Saturn. And who is Yahweh? Well, he was the solar logo of our planet and the creator of humanity. And for him to evolve, he had to know himself, so he created humans as his group soul consciousness. But he didn't give them free will. Everyone literally lived in heaven. And this is how, I know this sounds familiar with the story of the Garden of Eden, of Adam and Eve. We lived in paradise, but we were too happy and we weren't evolving. And Yahweh, he wanted them to evolve so that he can evolve. So it was decided that Lucifer, which is a sixth dimensional group soul consciousness who was in service to others, it was decided for him that he would descend to earth so he can give humans the choice of free will, just so they can do as they please. And this is also known as the tree of knowledge of good and evil, polarity, duality. And Yahweh, he thought this wasn't going to work. And he thought that humans would actually follow him. But of course, whenever you demand laws, people are always going to do the opposite. And once people know good, they're going to want to know evil. And he didn't give humans the understanding of why they should know polarity. Instead, he ordered a law. But you already know that once you create obedience, you're going to create disobedience. You always create the opposite in a realm with polarity. And anytime that you pass judgment on something, you created the opposite as well. And this is why, if you read all those spiritual teachings, they tell you to walk the middle path, the divine center. Because that's where life is created, just like a DNA molecule. You have the negative charge and the positive charge. Once it meets in the middle, that's where life is created. But of course, due to all the evil and the disobedience, we fell in consciousness. And the end result was that there was a race that they felt superior to humans, and this is how the elite was born. Elitism. Elite. L. Saturn. So this was a huge fail. We fell in consciousness, and that's it. Yahweh was mad and he imprisons Lucifer. So now we're here quarantined on earth with Lucifer, and this is the start of humanity's curse. Yahweh, he started out as a light being, but once he fell in consciousness, everyone just fell in consciousness. And now his karma is now here forever. And this is why the elite, they rule over us, because this level of blockage, this level of quarantine is what is referred to as the 666 seal. This all derived from pure intentions, but it just was manipulated, just like how humanity was manipulated. And this all resulted in this black magic religion that we're all unconsciously worshiping. So now, because of this, each human, they have to prove themselves to be of higher beings. And pretty much all of us, everyone here on earth, we are in a prison. Guys, when they tell you that we're going to go to hell after death, no, we are living in hell. Hell and heaven are states of mind. And this is where the law of one comes in. And the law of one is a universal law that is of service to others. So the rule is to think of others before yourself, because until you are 51% of service to others, you're going to live, die, and reincarnate over and over and over again until you get it right. You've probably had like 100 lives before this one. But because you're hearing this podcast, that means you're a light worker and you are already on the right path. So back to what I was saying, once you reach 51% of service to others, and it doesn't mean that you have to be like Mother Nature, like providing to all, like 90% goodness. No, it just means that you are not in a selfish, egotistical, materialistic person, because you're not going to ascend in that mindset. And you are not going to reach the consciousness of 5D. And once you adapt that awareness of being of service to others and to everyone, that's how you're going to be released from this prison. So all religion, it all goes back to Saturn. Yahweh, El, Elite. Saturn means Satan. And if you think about it, it's everywhere. You go to the Christian and Catholic churches, and it's a satanic cannibalistic ritual. We have to eat the body of Christ and drink the blood of Christ. I always thought that was weird. Also, why is circumcision in Judaism? No one questions it. And we are taught that that's how God wanted it, and that is the right thing to do, and that is true, but that is not. Everything connects. Everything is the same. If you look at Christianity, you can literally trace stories back to like Greek mythology. Or in the Bible, all they did was change the names. Eve is Pandora. Noah's Ark is a Deucalion's blood. Kronos is Saturn, which is Satan. Satan and Saturn are the same word. And the Greeks, the Vaticans, the ancient Romans, they all worshipped Saturn. So Saturn always had this evil significance. And Saturn is associated with man's limitations, death, restriction, decay. His Greek name was Kronos, which is the ruler of time. And you might not know it, and you might not even realize it, but the entire world has been worshipping Saturn, which is Satan, for thousands of years. Literally. The cult literally never stopped, and its rituals are still present to this day. Remember that every planet has a consciousness, a solar logos, and ours just happen to be Saturn's, which is El. And they all worship a black cube. You can find this cube everywhere. Go to all those Roman temples, all those sacred spots. You're going to see it. Trust me, you're going to see it more now that you know this. And they don't hide it. Everything is in plain sight. But the majority of us, we don't have any idea what we're looking at. And it's crazy because if you look at like the entertainment industry, you look at the music videos, the movies, the pictures, everybody promotes this black cube. You can see it in corporate logos all around the world, all in religion as well, literally. The Freemasons, the Vaticans, the elite, they're all aware of this. And the more that we visit those temples, the more power we're giving to them. And of course, you may be thinking, but a cube, that's so weird. Like, it's just a shape. Like, how is that any reference to Saturn and Satan? But, you know, these negative beings, they know what they're doing. And they must tell us what they're doing because it's universal law. So even though they're evil, they're woke in the sense that they know all about the law of attraction, the universal law, duality, vibration. They know that. They've mastered that. And that's why they're doing so good in brainwashing us. And they use loopholes so, you know, to tell us what's going on. And we literally have no idea. But guys, we're accepting it. And they put truth in movies, in music, in symbolism. And again, this is their way of following this universal law. And in that way, they're getting away with very little karma. So the beings that control this planet, and I'm not just talking about the elite, I'm talking about the evil satanic aliens behind the scenes. They've created a matrix that we're living in, a hell matrix, and we're all a part of it, except we don't even know it. But guys, like I said before, hell is right here. And if Saturn is Satan, and that is the one who's controlling this planet, then again, we are living in a hell realm. And our body consciousness, which is known as our ego, is our hell. So we live in a hell tormented by the devil until we open up our energy centers, which are called the chakras. And now that you know that knowledge, you can choose to get out of it. Because like that, you bring your higher self here. And once your higher self is in your body, it knows exactly what to do with it. And one by one, that's how souls are going to be proven worthy. And that's how you're going to be released. But yeah, guys, a lot of people don't know that, but everything is run by these intelligent gangs, these corporate gangs, the Vaticans, the Jewish mafia. And they're top heavy with pedophilia. They love war. They want to keep us living in fear with anxiety. And they feed on that, you know? They're infested by demons and archons. And that's why the scriptures, they tell us to not walk with the crowd. It's always better to walk alone, because the crowd is always going the wrong way. And these groups, they brainwash and they pick up good, weak-minded individuals that are willing to kill for money, or willing to do any type of sacrifices for money. Because remember, energy is the strongest currency, guys. It's not money. And these gangs, they're infested by demons. Demons that are just self-entities. And all they care about is them. You know, like us, you and I, we service to others. We spread kindness, you know, we service to the Creator. Our full glory is just not to ourselves. Because without the spirit of the Creator, we can't achieve anything, literally. And if we serve and connect to goodness, that's it. God is expressing through us. And it's giving us all the beauty and the wisdom that we need in order for us to know this. But these entities, even though they are of God, because everything is God, they're trying to be as detached from God as possible. And they only care about themselves. They're not spiritual, they're psychopaths. They hype what is good. They literally hog it and they manipulate it so that they can get full credit, and they can make it seem as good and smart and credible. For example, everything that we learn to school is bullshit, because everything is a lie. Yeah, there's truth to everything, but everything is a lie, you know? For example, like Isis, the Egyptian goddess, they don't tell us that she's also Mary, the Virgin of Heavens, or Lakshmi, or Diana, or all these great goddesses. You know, they don't even talk to us about these other goddesses. And before the whole like globe theory and the gravity concept, you know, before all of that, we were all connected and we were united in one Creator, one source. But then the demon worship came about, and that confused everybody. And they have indoctrinated us and educated us into thinking that we live in this one mechanical evolutionary mistake, the Big Bang. They made us believe in science. They told us that we come from the material. If you study science, when do they ever talk about consciousness? They don't even use that word. And of course, they're going to use like good names and good astral theology, all to confuse us, because these demons, you know, there's no remorse in their essence. They've detached themselves from the spirit, from like what they once were, and they've fallen. They've fallen, guys. But all of us that have souls, we are special, and we all carry good and God inside of us. By the way, good and God are the same word, and we all have two souls according to Hinduism. So we have a Jiva Atma and a Param Atma. The Jiva Atma is like our individual soul. It's our unique essence. It's a living entity. And the Param Atma is a piece of the super soul of the Supreme Lord, like Jesus. And this super soul enters our hearts and all living entities, as well as all atoms. Everything is atoms. We are made from atoms. Atoms is the same word as Adam. So you are anatomy and a child of Adam. Adam is the ecliptic. And we all produce sound waves and thought waves. And all these waves are called atoms. So Adam is everything. We are atoms. Guys, we have more senses than we think. According to Egyptians, we have like over 360 when they're fully activated. When Jiva, our unique soul, is fully with God. So according to this knowledge, we are God, but we are also with God. We are God, but we are also with God. We are God in quality, but not in quantity. And, you know, people that are clairvoyants, they can actually see these souls, these two souls that we carry. Their seeing is merged with their hearing, so therefore they can see music. And according to them, it is luminous. And it's the super physical of the divine. And we can literally activate these senses and grow these senses when we meditate, do good deeds, do chants, do great practices, it is just the kindness of the Creator that He left us with Him. And this is a divine ability that we all carry. And this all brings us one with the Creator. And each of those souls, Jiva and Parama, they each are 100. They're 100%. If you divide 100 divided by 100, it equals 1. And that's us. So because of this makes us different and special to all these, self-serving entities, these psychopaths, these pedophiles. They don't even have the power that we do. We give them the power. We are their human battery. They've detached themselves from their souls like a while ago. And they are literally all controlled by these demons and these archons. And they literally have rituals with babies. They suck their blood. They have all these ceremonies. They torture. They feed off this. And it's crazy because all these powerful Roman criminal families are the ones that just took over. And it's crazy. If you really want to see all of this like on a physical plane, then you have to go to demon-infested Rome and to the families that have controlled Rome and all the corporations like London, Paris, or even DC, Wall Street. All of this is controlled by Italian families and by the Holy Romans. And the German families are the Rothschilds, the Bauers, the Gauls. All these families, they get together in packs, in covens. They're witches and thieves. And they have no source connection. All they want to do is rule, no matter at what cost, no matter if they suffer. That's why they poison our water with fluoride, and they spray chemtrails in our skies, because they don't even care that they're destroying themselves, They're masters at destroying souls, literally. And they're the ones that taught us that it's okay and it's barbarian and it's evolution to eat animals, because animals don't speak our language or they can't express themselves and they deserve to be killed and butchered and gutted and oiled and barbecued and grilled and roasted. Like, no, that shouldn't be the case. The people devouring them are unconscious. And just because some animals are carnivores, it don't mean that we are. We don't even have sharp teeth, so therefore we're not designed to eat them. We literally have to go out of our way to cook them. And the difference between them and us is that animals are not moral agents and they're not bound by natural laws. But humans, we are. Why murder for taste buds? For every piece of flesh you buy, you're paying to breed the next to die. So why contribute to this massacre? You must think, but they taste so good. But Earth provides us with so much goodness, like cinnamon, garlic, greens. Meat is just flesh. Would you eat it uncooked and unseasoned? Also, why do we have to go out of our way and separate them from their families? They all feel, and they don't deserve to be killed for our hunger. It's not like we're in survival mode, starving in the forest. All of this is just a brainwash to keep us reincarnated, because they know that if our blood is impure of Jiva, our individual God, then we're going to reincarnate in this plane to taste more blood. And that's their goal. Their goal is to teach us that eating meat is good. It's cuisine. Literally. They think that it's supposed to be expensive because it's good quality. It's good for you, protein, but that's all a hoax. Like, that's not true. You literally are what you eat. What you should be eating should be looking like the colors of the rainbow. If you're eating anything other than that, it's not meant for you. It's not going to make you vibrate higher. It's just putting more bad karma in your body. And it's crazy because they love rituals and they love to keep their own bloodlines pure. And they know how to keep incarnation in their family line. For example, like Queen Elizabeth, she probably reincarnated from like those evil families like ages ago. And we have just been enslaved in so many ways with the whole like evolution, the whole round earth theory. Again, all of this, they make it seem so intellectual. But ever since Aristotle founded that school, that's where all the materialism came. Because, for example, like Plato's and Aristotle, they knew the secrets as well. They knew what was going on. But they chose to make this into a more animalistic society. And we were told that, that we can understand the cosmos materially, and only materially, because there's no spiritual cause. Whatever looks like spheres on the heavens, then we must be living on a sphere. And of course, they're going to get their rulers out and they're going to do their calculations, all to understand God. But the only way to understand God is to service to God. There's no other way. There's no philosophy book that's going to make you understand God. Even if you read the Bible, you're not going to go anywhere unless your heart is in service to the Creator. And these individuals, they have no passion or desire to serve the Creator. So if you've done good work in your past lives, they come with you in this life. And people that live in the clouds or in low vibrations or just have no substance, they're just empty, they simply have not done their work, then they have gone looking for sense gratification. Literally, they're only pleased by what they see in their senses, what they feel. And they're just satisfied with full bellies and to have lustful sex. All of that is more important than to be of service to the Creator. And, they either believe in science or religion, but in order to be one with God and to know the Creator, you need to surrender and to service. Because in reality, the true lesson that we're all taught with time as our wisdom flourishes is that it's all about being one with difference. Literally, the divine middle path. We, in the Western world, we've all been programmed to believe that we need constant guidance when it comes to our health or financial affairs or our education, communities, or even our ability to just choose in general. But what we don't realize is that why are we letting someone guide those decisions for us? And only someone with a calcified pineal gland, aka third eye, will accept automatically being a follower. From vaccinations to drugs, to chemicals in the water, to chemicals in the food, to chemtrails in the sky, toxins are literally everywhere. And they've influenced our body to not have a clear mind and to experience this separated mind-body connection at its all-time best. So everything from ingesting these non-foods and this polluted air to being injected and medicated and being fed fear-based information, all of this is going to acidify us. And as a result, this is going to calcify our pineal gland, which, believe it or not, a lot of us, probably the majority of us, have already been calcifying our pineal glands with just drinking tap water and being exposed to all this pollution. But the only way to bring it back is to know about your third eye and be aware of your surroundings and everything that you consume. Because this third eye, this popular third eye that we're talking about, it's what connects us to these higher realms. And this gland is our internal government. It's literally the authority inside of us that has our best interest at heart. We are already gods, and there is no service required. Our true nature or reality is Sat Chit Ananda, which is existence, consciousness, and bliss in Hinduism. And as we start to wake up, our suffering is going to diminish. And that's when we will have infinite bliss. Because it's only in this material world that we suffer. Do you want to worship the divine, or do you want to practice the divine? Instead of our bodies ruling our minds should be the ones to tell the consciousness to our bodies. Because remember, guys, you are a piece of God. But you are always in a constant game of hide and seek with yourself. Once duality is respected and understood, all lives are going to be in alignment. That's when blessings are going to manifest. Our purpose here on earth is not to grind for some material outcome, but it's to explore the wonders of the universe, to learn, to evolve, to grow. It's truly a magical existence. And right now we're experiencing the golden age. And you can already begin to live that way now. Even though the old reality controls all of our resources, and despite the fact that we have to probably work in it a while longer, It's just important to make that switch to your loyalty to this new form of existence now. Because once you attune to this flow, you're going to feel a breakthrough. And you're actually going to carry yourself through a change in the most uplifting and empowering way. So it's just super essential to know that God is consciousness, not the creator, but the very source of creation itself. Because by believing that God is something exterior from yourself, you separate yourself from source and you immediately become a limited being. It is literally a force, a divine energy, a frequency that exists within you and within everybody. The good about all that's happening is that humanity's awakening process is actually accelerating immensely. And now people are becoming aware that the government and these high positions of authority, they have been literally misleading us. And this harsh reality is exposing and it's increasing awareness, which is literally a necessary part of awakening, because it takes us to a dimension of believing in ourselves and that we must only trust ourselves, because remember that guidance is always with us. It's literally waiting for us to seek it. We were all created as powerful, sovereign beings with free will. But over the ages, we've been brainwashed, trained, and encouraged to give our power away to others, either to our parents, to our teachers, the military, the police, these multinational organizations, religion leaders, government, all supposed to be for our own good. But obviously, as history clearly shows, whenever we give our power, it is always abused. And there's always going to be conflicts erupting, whether it's small, local, or on a massive scale. So they set these good people at war, all with one another, all to satisfy their evil hidden agendas, which are then presented to us as necessary for our own best interest. But again, that is bull. And now with this present global lockdown and all this government limitation on our freedom, it's becoming clear that these present systems of government all around the world are not in humanity's best interest. And I know I may sound like a crazy person about everything that I just said, but all of this just needs to be drastically changed, because every individual deserves to be heard, honored, and respected. And we're literally now witnessing the fall of democracy. And studying the word democracy, demo means demon, and krasi means kratos, which means rulership. So we're living in a demonized rulership under the laws of the government. And the government means govern the mente, which means govern the mind. So they just have this huge desire for control, greed, and power. And they get their power by offering money. And by offering money, they get power, and then they get their energy. So it's just so important to be aware of this. And guys, pay attention to detail in words, because every single word has meaning and an emotion and a vibration. So your human awakening is what is bringing end to all this long-term systematic corruption. And that is currently being replaced with love and harmony. And one thing that they underestimated is the internet. Because now, with the help of the internet, we're experiencing a worldwide cooperation. And this has literally never happened before here on planet Earth. So humanity's future is bright because of the amount of just creative possibilities that are arising, and that which is bringing changes. The veil is finally thinning, and we are acknowledging our lost power, our ancestral knowledge. From the fire in the bush, there's always regeneration. And every single human on earth at this moment is in the process of evolving spiritually, whether they're aware of it or not. And they chose to be here in this moment to assist and take part in this awakening. So for those that are still asleep and close-minded, all you need to do is just set an intention at least once daily, just to be loving and face whatever situations you come across. Even if you don't like to tune into spirituality, all that matters is that you're loving. And that is literally your ultimate divine assignment. So have honesty and integrity with those that you consciously and mindfully love. And just honor and respect everyone with whom you interact with, even strangers. Because remember, guys, that time is sacred. Their presence is sacred. Every single moment is sacred. It's either blessing you or teaching you, literally. So cherish it all. And if everyone were to enter this unified field of love, literally all of God's creation will be visible and intensely felt. And this is what the fifth dimension is all about, and what we're actually gonna transition to. And this strong desire to let love embrace you is just, there's nothing like it, guys. Because remember that our minds and our ego is a condition. That is not our true nature. It's literally the karmic damage inside of us. It's the root of division in the universe. And love is not outside of ourselves, it's inside. And you could never be unworthy or unimportant, because remember that you are a divine creation. You are a sun, a light being, a God. So therefore, you're absolutely whole and perfect. We are all identical to God, and God is invested in all of his atoms. But while you believe in your unworthiness and your judgment, you're seeing yourself only as your human form. But you are not your human form. They're just vehicles that make it possible for us to experience life. A life that's literally limited by form. And these forms are fearful because their lifespan is so short. So therefore, it's terminal. And this time-limited life form that I'm talking about is not inspiring at all. And there's so much distraction brought to us, like this addiction to social media and fulfilling ourselves with short-term pleasures, all to just distract us from our true unconditional love. Remember, guys, that we are not our image. We are way more complex, more interesting, more sensational. And this vessel is our personal galaxy to experience the divinity of all. God is included in everything. There's no good or bad in God, just everything in it. It is everywhere. There can't be a place where it is not, because if there's something that doesn't have God, then it is not it, and therefore it is not infinite, and therefore it's not inclusive. So God's creation is perfect, and it is in your mind and my mind. So we are whole, guys. We are literally whole. And now, as this global lockdown continues to restrict our freedom, well, this is like a great time for you to make a personal retreat and just go within daily and just rest in that mindful awareness. And this is called meditation. Remember, guys, that the most brilliant ideas have came through meditation. Set the intention for everyone and everything, everywhere, to open their hearts and to be there for one another. This is the most effective method because the energy field is what connects us all, and we are all connected in this invisible web of expression and love, which is source, which is creation. And by setting that, we are making it happen. We can literally make anything happen with our minds. And imagine with the power of everyone's mind, by just opening this love, this energy, we are literally inviting everyone to fill their hearts with love, all on earth. Because remember that love dissolves fear. And when you engage in positive and these loving social interactions, you're actually strengthening the collective intent to awaken, to wake up. You were born in this timeline to awaken from this dream, this illusion, and to truly establish heaven on earth. That is literally what you are doing right now in this moment. And the intent to do so intensifies the more you begin to feel the love in which you're always filled with. Remember that separation is unreal and it's impossible because we're all connected through that invisible grid and that web of expression. So you just feel separated because of our programming, but that is an unreal state that you built and that you chose to experience. Because when you awaken, this veil of separation is going to dissolve. So use this time wisely and lovingly to address and release any deep-seated resentments, hatred, blaming, judgments, anything negative that flows into your mind. Because remember, guys, that they are just thoughts. And these thoughts are going to keep popping up until you address it and disengage with it. Because anything that interferes with your intentions to be only loving is not meant to live inside of you. And anyone that has a soul just wants to be loved because, again, love is our divine nature and our highest vibration. In the etheric field, our auras literally glow and become larger and more magnetic when we engage in love. So just make a point of being mindful, as this literally strengthens your intent to only be loving. And doing this is to do your divine will, which is also your will, because there is only one will. And it is viewing free will through your third eye, because remember, it's your first eye. And as we unlock this ancestral knowledge and the secret codes to our DNA, the negative agenda will diminish because they just don't belong here. They either have to upgrade or diminish. And guys, we're all badass warriors, and our presence in this form is absolutely essential and needed in this current revolution. I just want to conclude with saying that no one is going to come to fix it up and save us. No government, no guru, no president, no pope, nobody is going to save us. It is up to us to proclaim ourselves as sovereign beings and become our own state and law. Literally, no vaccine, no mask, none of that is going to protect you. Only your glorious spark of light, your God spark of light. That's the only thing that's going to lift you into divine immunity. And it's going to protect you from mind pollution and abuse and any virus contamination. Literally, all of this will diminish as soon as you fully embody and own your divine spark of light, mind, body, and soul. And once you attune to that, you will literally beam like the sun. Thank you guys for listening. Wish you love and abundance.